We have an seems like legal breaking, unconstitutional, an unconstitutional action that Donald Trump is attempting to do. What is that constitutional action that Donald Trump is attempting to do? Well, let's just take a look at this new reporting by NPR. The article is titled, Trump's new executive order could upend voting. And ladies and gentlemen, the article reads, President Donald Trump has signed a new executive order that would require respective voters to show proof of citizenship to register to vote. The order's sweeping changes test the power of Trump's presidential authority. Voting rights advocates worry that the new provisions could block millions of Americans from voting if enacted, and say Trump lacks the legal authority to make such changes. The order claims the United States fails to enforce basic and necessary election protections. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be clear for the record, Donald Trump, does not have the ability nor the legal authority and willpower to change the elections. This is an unconstitutional act, and it will more than likely be challenged in the federal court system, and then more than likely be making its way up to the United States Supreme Court for further ruling and review. The order calls for updating the federal form voters can use to register to vote, to include a requirement that voters show proof of citizenship, like a passport, to a local or state official. States have long had considerable leeway in how they manage their elections. The federal government has been able to set some minimum standards for federal races, though typically via legislation. The order also requires states to remove non-citizens from voter rolls, calls for states and federal agencies to share data to prosecute election crimes, and grants federal agencies, including to the head of the Department of Government Efficiency team, access to check state rolls for consistency with federal requirements. It also directs federal agencies to share data with states such as immigration and local, Social Security records to facilitate states checking the eligibility of the names on their voter rolls. Voting rights advocates, however, warn outdated databases can erroneously list naturalized citizens as non-citizens. Past efforts by the states to purge non-citizens from voter rolls have sometimes swept up eligible U.S. citizens. The executive order also seeks to stop states from counting mail or absentee ballots received after Election Day by withholding funding from states that allow such ballots to be counted. Proof of citizenship requirement. Ahead of the 2024 election, Trump and his allies made baseless claims about the threat of non-citizen voting in large numbers. Let's be clear, ladies and gentlemen, that non-fact is still unproven until this day. The current federal voter registration form asks registrants to swear under penalty or perjury that they are U.S. citizens and eligible to vote, and to provide a driver's license number, state ID number, or Social Security number. Those who attempt to vote illegally can face prison time, fines, or deportation. Past audits and studies have shown such cases are incredibly rare. Yet Republicans have made requiring documentary proof of citizenship a policy priority. The executive order borrows heavily from the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, SAVEA, known as the SAVE Act, a Republican-backed bill. House Republicans have signaled that they intend to pass it in their chamber, but it faces difficult odds in the Senate. The executive order shows Trump isn't waiting for Congress, but legal experts say that he does not have the authority through executive order to make such changes, and the order conflicts with existing federal voting laws. Quote, it's illegal to make different levels, it's illegal at many different levels. Dean Morales Doyle said, who's the voting rights director at the Brennan Center for Justice, a non-profit that studies and advocates for voting rights. the voter directs, the order directs the Election Assistance Commission, ASC, a small, independent, bipartisan agency, to make various changes, including to federal voting registration form, to the federal voter registration form. But Morales-Doyle said the president can't tell that commission what to do. Requiring documentary proof of citizenship would radically upend voter registration if such mandate were to take effect. The order is explicit that applies to anyone who uses the federal voter registration form. What is less clear is if the order would also pressure states to require showing proof of citizenship with state registration forms, such as by withholding funds. The order only lists a limited number of ways to prove U.S. citizenship. The options given are a U.S. passport, an ID that complies with the Real ID Act that shows citizenship, or a military ID that shows citizenship. A fourth option is a valid government photo ID that indicates that the applicant is a United States citizen, or such identification is otherwise accompanied by proof of the U.S. citizenship, but does not say if a birth certificate would count. Morales-Doyle said the fact that that birth certificates are not explicitly mentioned in the order as a way to prove citizenship are consistent with another Trump order that ends birthright citizenship. Only about half of Americans have a U.S. passport, and only 5 states currently offer enhanced driver's licenses that show proof of citizenship. Well, ladies and gentlemen, looks like that's going to do it for today's legal breaking analysis reporting. If you did enjoy this legal breaking analysis reporting, please do consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, as well as please helping me reach the overall channel goal of 150 plus subscribers. The reason why I'm saying 150 plus subscribers is because right after we reach and achieve the goal of 150 subscribers, we have more subscribers to achieve and reach after we reach and achieve the goal of 150 subscribers. A couple ways you guys can make sure you never miss a brand new video that I post on the channel. 4 times a day, 5 times a day, 3 times a day, 2 times a day, or once a day. You guys can hit the bell icon. It does not cost anything. It's completely free. It is located beneath the screen here on the right hand side of the subscribe button. Another way you guys can do that is by following me on my social media links that'll have linked down below. I'm on Instagram, Snapchat, and Threads. There you guys can be updated instantly on when I post a brand new legal breaking analysis and legal breaking reporting video to the channel. That is all that I have for the video today, ladies and gentlemen. If you did enjoy this video, please that is all I have for the video. Until my next reporting, ladies and gentlemen, please stay safe, please stay positive, and know that justice will prevail despite Donald Trump and his illegal administration's illegal, unconstitutional actions.